Okay, abusunya ba makwa abasonko so edeba Ghana politics Afenyo so abusunya ye mura yensem auditor general ede report bi ababetu Ghana report ne munsem no abusunya esemoni ensemo kache na sisi ano Solomon Owusu ede ensem bi etu Ghana ensem ode tu Ghana de Afenyo Markins de problem a eso no enye problem ketwa na sisi ano o chese ora ensha ase na chese omo ensete tribunal na omofam prosecute Afenyo Markins enye asem ketwa kra yense momram me yankona yenkonkoti ensem ko so subscribe like na share ma afofron so ensa into me enkabi Ghana politics Afenyo so medamase.
For the large scale sector contributed $28 million in corporate social investment. It is not true that large scale sector does not contribute to Ghana's economy. That is Engineer Dr. Kenashibe, is the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, also sending this. Thank you very much. This one also here says, this from Money, says, good morning. Dr. Zato himself says, does not understand the point he was making about the gold board. I think that he should apprise himself with the law that established the gold board, and maybe that will be a point of education for him, you'll say. Thank you very much for your message. Musa Abatwa in Aswase, and good morning. And I hope Aswase is well and peaceful this morning. The finance minister's budget presentation shows Ghana's economy is on the right track with a 1.1% primary surplus, surpassing the 0.4% target. This reflects the strong leadership of President Mahama and his team, who have revived the ailing economy and cleared all arrears left by the previous government. And thank you very much for your message this morning. And all of this, if care is not taken, Solo, when we look at the details of the Auditor General's report for the year 2024, every year we keep seeing the Auditor General bring out these details, and some of them, the figures that tend to raise concern about what is being done to even retrieve the monies that are said to have been misappropriated. We don't hear much of the collection and even punitive measures. 86% of the almost 19 billion cedis, that's the public financial irregularities, originated from institutions under the Ministry of Energy. The scale of infractions we're seeing went up by 109% as compared to the 2023 figure. ECG underdeclared over 2.95 billion cedis in revenue. Instead of disclosing the actual collections of 11.59 billion, the company reported 8.69 billion to the Ministry of Energy and other relevant authorities. We're also seeing ECG agent alone in the crisis. Bureau Power Authority is still chasing 729 million cedis in unpaid invoices from ECG. They also went to procure some loan that they defaulted on, which they had to pay 846,785 Ghana cedis on. We see that in the Energy Commission as well. There is allocation of 120,000 Ghana cedis meant for the Energy Fund. All of this, what has to be done to deal with this? And this money could make a difference in our lives.
I mean, Alfred, this is the only time I agree with a phrase that was used in the past by President Akuffo when he said, "Yetiskaso." Indeed, Yetiskaso. And ECG is indeed a crime scene.
How do you say ECG is a crime scene?
But you just read to us, 86% of what? All the infractions is coming from the ECG.
No, not just the ECG, just Gridco and others, but a chunk of it from the ECG.
ECG, yes. Now, if you just oppose this Auditor General's report to what was done by the PricewaterhouseCoopers also last year, in last year's report by PricewaterhouseCoopers, they were telling us that ECG was collecting 15 billion. They were only declaring 10 billion to us and making available 6.5 billion to the cash water flow mechanism. Now, the reason why people will continue to do these things with impunity is that people in authority are benefiting from it. They are all part of the cabal. It's a cash cow. They go there, they enjoy it, and you will see that nobody will be prosecuted. Does it not surprise you, Alfred, that we have the National Signals Bureau guy in court over what, $7 million? But there is nobody at ECG, be it the former managing directors or the board members or any staff there facing any prosecution. Not even a single arrest.
But you go to court with evidence beyond reasonable doubt.
But this is enough evidence. You do.
That's what the Attorney General said. Now, prosecution is not a walk in the park. I mean...
ECG, when you go there today, you have enough evidence to nail people. We cannot just be sitting down and always... The one city that we are made to pay, is it not for the inefficiency of ECG? Because if you look at the supply chain, VRA is producing, Greco is transmitting, ECG is distributing. Then the money is supposed to come from the ECG to pay the other players in the chain. Once they fail, then it affects everybody. Then the PURC, together with the government, comes back to us and say, let us go and pay for the ECG's inefficiency because we are not prosecuted. We are in this country that the former board chair came to tell us that indeed he knew when he was a board chair that people were actually doing connection. It's a common phenomenon. So it's common. Was he taking part? That's why he did not report it. These are matters, but now there should have been a committee of inquiry going after him to come and substantiate or expand further on the statement that he made, that he knew people. If you know people who are into connection or crime, you must report them.
You mean Afenyo Markin?
Afenyo Markin I'm talking about. But he made this statement and went away. And he's still your minority leader preaching towards the gospel of saintism. When indeed you have supervised one of the worst ECG tenures.
Well, he said he was in his office as board chair for just some 6 months.
6 months, let's go into detail how much was misappropriated and misapplied during that period. It will blow your mind. You don't need more months at ECG to enrich yourself. In any case, he has to be hauled before any committee of inquiry. Why did the former managing director, Mahama Dubik, left and told us that he was living on a personal reason, a position that he lobbied seriously for? No, we are not kids in this country. What about the former board chair, Kajipo? What was the reason why he left? Is it the reason why we are seeing some of these figures? We have to go into it. Because an institution that knows that the best practices in business, they say go to the sun, go to the source. This entity decided to go through Goro Boys. And the report is telling you that out of that, we lost 251 million Ghana cedis. We went through intermediaries, and so we lost. Don't forget that this was not just a mistake in business, but people actually benefited from the 251 million cedis.
I hope you're not saying that Afenyo Markin used ECG to enrich himself, because there's no evidence to that effect.
No, what I'm saying is that we have to investigate. Once monies are missing there, anybody who was in the helm of affairs is culpable. That we have to go into it. Without doing proper investigation, we will not know. But we cannot allow this thing to go unattended to. A company that at a point had about 88 different accounts. What were they doing with it? If it is not for chop. The top is chopping, so it is trickling down. The down are chopping. When you go to ECG, all of them will tell you that any procurement or contract that they award is inflated by a factor of 150%. It's a common business practice there. That when you are buying water in town at 1 cedi, at ECG they will buy it at 1 cedi 50 pesos. Because it's a sales asset that they must milk. Look, somewhere in the report, how can they pay 75 million Ghana cedis to hotel without a contract? Who does that? Who does that? Now you go to Bust because of chop. They also, instead of going through the electronic procurement system, they said no, they push this somewhere. Why must somebody not face prosecution because of some of these things? We are not going anywhere. We are not getting anywhere. And this is the kind of administration that Zato wants to present to us as a sanctimonious administration. So if I tell you that you must forget about that administration, you have to agree with me. Because nothing seems to be working with this. Now you asked a very important question that year in and year out, we are told that some amount, portions of the amount are recoverable. How much are they able to recover from some of these irregularities? We need that data to assure ourselves. Either than that, this 18.41 billion, out of which about 15 billion is attributable to the energy sector, can solve our problems. And it's not the best of situations. It's a sad day, and it's a sad time to be a Ghanaian because of what we are seeing.
Well, and Dr. Ismail Norman, yes. because also Professor Markin, you made your point briefly on this matter.
Okay.
It's about recoveries and retrieval, surcharge, so as to serve as a deterrent, so that year on year we don't come and sit here and still talking about Auditor General's report capturing millions from the public sector. This is your money, essentially.
Yes. I agree with Mr. Osu and his enthusiasm for this topic. I am actually dumbfounded oftentimes by the fact that there are so huge quantum amounts of financial irregularities. The people that run this country, that are decision makers when it comes to budgeting and expenditures, are people within the age group of 40 and 60. A significant amount of this people, cohort of people, are thieves.
Oh, how
they are criminals. Oh. Because how would all this money? No, my brother. It's not the youth that are stealing. It's the adults that are stealing. They are thieves. You shouldn't be afraid to say it. Because where did the financial irregularities come from? Where did it come from? Is the youth that went to steal the money? Is the adults that are running the institutions that are stealing? They are thieves. We need to punish them.
That's where the issue is.
Yes.
So if you have to establish
if you are not stealing, where would the money go? Where would the irregularities come from? Now I'm raising my voice because I'm very angry.
I'm the one who usually does that.
Yeah. I could do that better than you.
Don't copy me.
I'm not copying you. I was once a soldier. I know how to scream.
Like giving some space.
I know how to scream.
But you can understand the frustration,
yes,
and the sentiments of people.
That is why there's so much crime. Crime is taking uptick because the youth are seeing we, the adults, we, the decision makers, stealing. That is why the Auditor General can come out with specific amounts of money due to financial irregularities. Who is causing the irregularities? I think Oral needs to be a bit more active. I think we need to have more tribunals to try many of these people because they are thieves. I will never apologize for that statement, ever, until the adults in this country stop stealing.
I'm with you.
Thank you, sir.
That's a quick one on this, briefly. And then...
Thank you very much. And I must say with all honesty, Solomon, I agree with you on this. Perfectly. I agree. Soldier, I also agree with you perfectly on this. Okay. Because the name of the game should be deterrence. That is why I'm scandalized by this Nolly prosecutor on Kwabena. That is why this scandalizes me. You start oral operation, retrieve all loot. All. The operational word is all loot. Every single loot should be retrieved. And then you go back and you say, yes, it's I'm talking about deterrence. We have to deter people from doing this. One of the things that we don't see much in the Auditor General reports is that a lot of people are not prosecuted. What is that people are not punished? And that's what I'm saying, that when you read something like this, a knowledge prosecutor to somebody who we are told has allegedly embezzled so much money, then you go and do a sweetheart deal with him and say, give us 60%, keep 40%. How would that deter an ECG managing director from doing the things we are talking about? How would that deter a managing director of any state company from doing that?
So what should be done?
Exactly. What should be done is that we should not weaponize the knowledge prosecutor to only punish political opponents and reward our friends. We should let the court take its natural distance. If you are sitting as an ECG boss and you now realize that, oh, a former boss of ECG has just been sentenced for this, will you do it again? If you were saying, so my point is that we shouldn't do the fact that we are using this knowledge prosecutor thing as a political tool to report is what is contributing to this. Okay. The impunity in the country is too much. Oral was supposed to be operating retrieve all loot, but by this you are not looking like operation conceal or conceive all loot, and it's not nice. Okay. Let's go ahead and make sure that people are punished. If you waste the public sector money, punish you, jail them, prosecute them, but don't issue a knowledge prosecutor to some people you like, and then the others you say we should prosecute them. That ain't fair.
All right. This week, the for Bobkin, yes, we have to move on to the next issue because you have stated your position on this. This week, the Defense Minister, Dr. Edward Bawumia, addressed the government accountability series, and in that particular address, he did detail how thousands of military-grade ammunitions have gone missing, in fact, cannot be accounted for. And this transfer from the military to the national security was done before the 2024 elections. And as we speak, there's been an investigation that has been instituted to locate exactly where these thousands of military-grade ammunitions are. Apart from that, on Wednesday, he went on a working visit or a tour to the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. He also addressed the press that there's been some suspicion, in fact, there's been established theft at the military. And I'll start off with you, Dr. Ishmael Norman, because you are the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College. And this is what the Defense Minister, Dr. Addo said. Take a look at this.
2024 transfer of ammunition from the Ghana Armed Forces to the then National Security without due consultation and authorization, which the present National Security Coordinator is seeing to that investigation. Just when I thought that was being addressed, we have uncovered another one. And in that case, theft of ammunition. And that was even before the 2024 transfer of ammunition from the Ghana Armed Forces to the National Security. The ammunition found in the hands of civilians may not just have come from the ingenuity of those civilians securing them, but may have come from complicity of people who are tasked with responsibility. And so the investigations are ongoing, but the general public must know that these thefts have taken place and we are chasing them. We shall chase the perpetrators to whichever hole in which they will be hiding, because the peace and stability of Mother Ghana is far more important than any other individual's interest.
Defense Minister Dr. Addo there. Dr. Ishmael Norman, how can this happen? I mean, we're talking about the military with standards and protocol, and then you have military-grade ammunition getting missing, untraced, transferred without due process and without following protocol in the military. That's surprising to me, to say the least.
Alfred, Minister is correct in bringing this matter to the public's attention, and I support that process. I also believe that probably there was some documentation about the transfer, but in Ghana, we don't keep a lot of documentations properly. So I'm not making an excuse, but it could happen that leading up to the election, people were quite busy moving things around in order to prepare for worst-case scenario, so that transferring the ammunition, which is a very regular activity between various security agencies, that is not wrong, but not keeping documentation of the inventory is where the issue is. I believe that this should not be investigated by Ghana police. The military has the military police. They are very, very good. For example, Major Mahama's death was investigated by Ghana military. Without them, we wouldn't have discovered the perpetrators. So let the military investigate itself. The naval intelligence, the army intelligence is also very, very good. They should be able to tell us what happened to those ammunition, because some of them are even armor-piercing bullets. And I'm quite surprised that all of this got lost. Even if they were preparing for election, why do you have to issue armor-piercing bullets to, for example, Ghana police? What kind of disruption were you looking to see to intervene? So it is correct for the minister to bring the issue out. What was transferred is one issue. We need to compartmentalize it. What is missing is stolen. If it's stolen, because Honorable Amankwa Menu said, we shouldn't worry about what was transferred.
Yeah.
He was a deputy minister under Honorable Nitiwol. So they should know, these people should be questioned. The former DC, CDS should also be questioned. And they should be able to tell us what was transferred. But what is missing is a criminal offense. For that, a proper report has to be made to any of the agencies that is built to investigate what is missing. So there are two items that we have to follow. We cannot fuse the two of them together.
Right. So what is transferred, you said it's a normal occurrence.
Yes.
It happens. The military will transfer ammunition to various security agencies as and when needed.
Exactly.
But it must follow protocol.
Exactly.
And the lay down procedure. The minister says this transfer, there's no documentation. It's irregular. It didn't follow protocol. That's where the issue is with the first instance.
I believe that there cannot be a transfer to national security. Let's give some respect to Honorable Nitiwol and Honorable Amankwa Menu. There cannot be a transfer between two government agencies without some documentation. Somebody has to sign to receive it. There has to be a list of the items being transferred. Maybe the paper wasn't filed in the right place. And so since none of those people, the key players, none of them is dead, each one of them is in the country, let's go to them. Honorable Nitu, what do you remember about transfer? Do you have any documentation? Honorable Amankwa Menu, do you? Kandapa, Honorable Kandapa, do you have any? And what about the CDS? Upon paper, do you have any information under your watch? This amount of ammunitions were transferred. Where did it go? I believe that all the key players are available to be questioned, and I believe that they will be willing. If you use the police, if you use any other agency, the army, because of esprit de corps, may not want to talk. So use their own military police, their own intelligence arm to do it. Because if I was a soldier and a policeman come to question me, I won't talk.
Really?
Yes, it is a practice. Esprit de corps, you protect each other.
But would it be prudent in this instance for the
I'll take
military,
the fifth.
from the military to investigate itself in an instance like this when they are the ones who are being cited to have not followed due process?
Or the military police is very, very good. They are very, very good. The intelligence division, they don't make any allowances for anyone.
But you see, I've spoken to you so many times, and this relationship we have goes way back. Why are you against the police investigating itself, but then you are for the military investigating itself?
Because of theft control.
What do you mean?
Theft control. I mean, soldiers don't like other people coming into the very inner circles of their activities. But they will allow their own people, they will be very willing to tell the story. But the moment you bring some other external force there, they begin to close up. And they won't tell you, they won't give you all the information.
And I respect, because you teach them, you work with them, you are a former military, you are a former, no, you're a former military, personnel. So in understanding the psyche and the psychological, as it were, framework of the military, you're the best person to speak to this. And I respect that position. I was just asking as to how, if we're investigating an act that has been described as irregular by an institution, you say that from what you do know about the structure of the military, they can still investigate themselves. A different arm of the military can investigate what has happened, and we will still get some accountability and the whole picture of what happened.
The police investigates itself all the time.
Even though you are against it.
I'm not against it. The police investigates itself. There is a huge sector of the Ghana Army, Armed Forces, that are lawyers. So the judge advocate can also help with the investigation. And I believe that they will not protect anyone, because a lot of investigations go on within the Ghana. It's a microcosm of our Ghanaian society. So everything that we have in the civilian world, they have it. So let them do the work. And if they don't do a good job, then you bring in external forces to do the investigation. Out of respect for the entire army.
Yes,
let us not demonize the Ghana Army.
Well, I mean, you know clearly that this is not my area.
Indeed.
I don't know how ammunitions look like. They were showing pictures. And the rest of them. So please, I'm just thinking that maybe we should be careful about exaggeration. Perhaps some of these things, the baseline investigation and all of that probably should close our ranks, because the point is that my considered view is that there are certain areas that should not be in the public domain so much and all of that. But I want to believe that the defense minister has got reason for bringing this to the public attention and all of that. So
yeah, but Dr. Esbenoman, you said you're commending the defense minister for making this public, because there are sometimes these things that happen, there are those who are of the view. In fact, the former deputy defense minister said he didn't understand why the defense minister is saying this in public. But then you said it was worth letting us know about what is going on.
It is important for the minister to let us know, every other ministry, whatever is going on, because one of the biggest ethical value of Ghana, probity, accountability, transparency, is in our constitution. Every appointed person must follow this ethical value, and the minister has done well in compliance with that.
Okay, abusuawe ne ensema ekoso ewo political highway so eye Afenyo Markins NHS solu de amemana enye asem keto akra o chese eye se orafo no ehya ase ekeka omo ho entententem mo ano na Afenyo Markins no boni a waba bi di no ECG ono enye asem keto akra beda ma asem je pene kokoti sa ensem we edimai aha eye Ghana politics avenue so beda ma